The food pipe, or we can also call it as esophagus. It is a hollow, long pipe which is made up of muscles. Now muscles are contracting and relaxing, which will help in movement of food in the esophagus. The food which was in buccal cavity and has been digested by the saliva is now turned into small ball-like structures. So it is being pushed and swallowed with the help of tongue in the buccal cavity and will ultimately come into the esophagus. When food enters into the esophagus, the movement in the muscles will help in the downward movement of the food. This movement of the food with the help of contraction and relaxation of muscles is called as peristalsis. So, peristalsis is basically the process which will help in movement of the food in the downward direction towards the stomach by relaxing and contracting the muscles. Now when the muscle is relaxed, the space will become more and it will have the food particles. So this is the food. After the food starts, it keeps on moving in this direction and then the muscle will contract. When muscle will contract, it will put pressure on the food and ultimately food will move to the next place. So this way, this continuous movement keeps on happening, which will lead to the downward movement of the food which is being swallowed from the buccal cavity. Now there is no digestion of food basically takes place, but because of the movement of muscles, there will be churning of food. Means it will crush the food because of contracting and relaxing of the muscles of esophagus. Before entering into the esophagus, the food has to pass through the throat, and in the throat there is a passage which is common for the entry of air which comes from the nasal cavity and goes to the windpipe, and also for the oral cavity that will allow the food to go into the food pipe. So, if by chance there is some food particle which will enter into the windpipe, then it will lead to the problem of coughing. So, breathing will be interrupted. To avoid this, by nature, we have a valve-like structure which is called as epiglottis. This valve will close the windpipe when we are eating something and will allow the movement of food straight away to the food pipe. So, food will not enter into the windpipe, thus causing no problem. This is the reason we can never eat and speak at the same time, and always it is advised not to speak or laugh when you are eating your food, because otherwise the food will enter into the windpipe and sometimes it may even lead to choking of your windpipe. So if the particle is very big in size, then the problem may cause death also. So it is always advised to remain quiet while eating your food. Some of you might be thinking that why does vomiting happen? What is the reason for the vomiting then, if there is all the downward movement of the food? Vomiting is basically anti-peristalsis. Anti means in the direction, opposite to the direction of normal functioning. Like clockwise we talk and anti-clockwise, same way peristalsis is the downward movement of the food particles and anti-peristalsis is the upward movement. Now what happens in case of vomiting? Because of excessive acids or some other indigestion problem, when the food enters into the esophagus, it will not allow it to move down. Rather, there will be a back pressure on the food particle, and this time the food will be forced to move in the upward direction. phenomena will be same, relaxation and contraction of the muscles, and this will lead to vomiting. So peristalsis and antiperistalsis work on the same manner. It is basically the relaxing and contracting of the muscles of which the food pipe is made, and ultimately the peristalsis will help in downward movement of the food. It occurs every time, whereas antiperistalsis occurs occasionally, and because of this vomiting may occur. After the food pipe, the food will enter into the next part of the alimentary canal, and that is stomach. Stomach is a thick-walled bag-like structure. It can be considered as a U-shaped structure, and the food will enter into the stomach from the food pipe. So, the stomach is also considered as the widest organ of the alimentary canal. It is having certain digestive juices which will help in digestion of the food. The digestive juices which are secreted by stomach are also called as gastric juices. Gastric juices are actually secreted by glands which are present in the wall of the stomach and are called as gastric glands. Now, gastric glands are actually helpful for the secretion of gastric juices, and gastric juices include three main components. One is hydrochloric acid, then it will release mucus and an enzyme which will help in the digestion of protein. So, a protein digesting enzyme will also be secreted by the gastric juice. Now, these three have their own function. Now, what are the functions of these? Hydrochloric acid. The first we have hydrochloric acid. It will help in making the medium acidic. So, one benefit of having the medium acidic is it will not allow the harmful bacteria or microorganism to grow. So, will keep us safe. Another thing it does is it will also provide an acidic medium which is required for the working of this protein digesting enzyme. Now, this protein digesting enzyme will work only when the medium is acidic. Then second, we have mucus. Now, the function of mucus is to protect this inner wall of the stomach from the hydrochloric acid, which is released by the gastric glands. Now, the mucus will protect from the excessive hydrochloric acid, and the delicate cells which are present in the walls will not be harmed. Also, it will keep the surface moist. So, that will also help in easy movement of the food. Then, we have protein digesting enzyme. The name of this protein digesting enzyme is pepsin. Now, pepsin is an enzyme which will help in breakdown of proteins which are present in our food and will convert it into amino acids. Amino acids are the simple molecules as compared to the proteins. Basically, the proteins are made up of amino acids combined together. Now, this pepsin will work on these proteins in the acidic medium always. This you need to keep in mind, that medium should be acidic. Means there should be sufficient amount of hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So, this will lead to formation of amino acids, which will be the smaller molecules of proteins and can be easily absorbed later on in the blood. So this process is basically the part of digestion process which has started in the buccal cavity, because in the buccal cavity the starch part of the food has been digested and been converted into sugars. Here the protein is being digested and converted into its simpler molecules which are amino acids. Then we are left with other components of food, how these can be digested. We are still left with the small intestine and large intestine. So what function they do? Let us continue with that.